And to my final question, ladies and gentlemen, Charles from Wrexham. Nigel, why is Theresa May insistent on getting a deal? What's wrong with no deal?
Well, the answer is nothing. And it's not a deal. This idea that it's Theresa May's deal. It's not Theresa May's deal. It's Monsieur Barnier's treaty, which he wrote with the real boss, Mrs. Merkel, looking over his shoulder. And it is, because I know Barnier. I know all these people from my job in the European Parliament. One or two of you may have seen some of my speeches that I've given there over the years. No, always tried to be as helpful and constructive as I can be at all times. I think I've enjoyed the 20 years a lot more than they have, although they haven't seen Widdicombe yet, have they? So, I mean, let's see. Barnier walks around in Brussels with the leather-bound document under his arm. He says at every given opportunity, this is a treaty. It is a legally binding international treaty. It has a clause and provision within it, which means we may never be able, under its terms, to leave it. Arguably, what May has signed us up to is in many ways, or attempted to sign us up to, is in many ways even worse than the existing European treaty. I did not fight for 25 years to ditch the European treaties to be signed into a new set of European treaties. I'll be damned if that is going to happen. And leaving on WTO terms is of course painted out by the giant multinationals as being some kind of disaster. The truth of it is, most of our global trade is done on WTO terms. We trade with America on WTO terms. We trade with China on WTO terms. And of course, if we leave on WTO terms, you know that the EU will be running down the street after us wanting a trade deal. Why? Because 1 in 3 Mercedes that are sold outside of Germany are sold in this country. Why? Because we buy 110 million bottles of Italian Prosecco every year. They sell far more to us than we do to them. But the way you negotiate is from a position of strength. Our clueless Prime Minister, our career politicians, people who've never done a proper day's work in their lives, who've never worked in trade and business, and who've listened to and followed a civil service, who've given up all pretense of neutrality, have led us to this disaster. And I want to say this. One of the things you'll see amongst the Brexit Party candidates, we've got many people in our ranks, men and women, entrepreneurs, business people, people who do deals every day of their lives. We would make a much better job of Britain's future than the Muppets doing it right now.